Welcome, Justin Gaethje, back to the program here on MMAOddsBreaker. World Series of Fighting 29, March 12th, Brian Foster. This one's up Greeley, Colorado. Where are you right now? Where are you training?
I'm in Denver.
Okay. You threw me off, just to let you know, because you kept giving me East Coast times to set up our interview, which
I know that's just the easiest way.
It's smart. It's actually because you know what time it is in the East Coast. I know what time it is in the East Coast, and we all can figure out our time zone.
Yeah, it's just the easiest way.
Does it get daunting sometimes? It happens for me a lot. But do you ever have problems with a reporter getting ready to call you for an interview, and it's like 2 hours earlier than what you expected because he didn't get the time zones right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I've learned, to not let that happen by just clarifying. Most of the time it's my fault, but
well, yeah. It's weird. It's actually I interviewed a couple women last couple UFCs ago, or no, actually last UFC. There was a couple women on the card that I called and talked to, and I noticed something, and it sounds kind of sexist, and I'm probably getting a lot of bad heat for it, but every single time I schedule a woman, I mean 100%, it is 100%, they are on time and ready to go. Every single time. The guys, it might be 70%, might be 75%. And that's like today, we're late because of me. I had something I had to do, so we had to push. So I take all that out of it when I screw up.
There you go.
When other guys, I'm like, the women are on top of it every single time. And
they know.
And they're dressed and ready to go. I can't even tell you how many times, like, Uriah Faber, like, literally just walked off the mat. Like, literally has just walked off the mat. Doesn't even have a hat on. His hair's all over the place. No shirt on. Just sits down and starts the interview. You're like,
well, I remember we did one, and I had barely woken up. I barely remember doing it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
So you have gotten better as a competitor, like as a fighter. You've gotten better, and obviously part of it was confidence. When you got the belt, your confidence level jumped up a lot once you grabbed the belt. But you've also gotten better in interviews. Like you seem to be a lot smarter with them, and you seem to be a lot more forthcoming with information. Like you're not hiding as much. Guys, when they first start interviews, are scared to say what they really want to say. One, scared of giving away too much information to their opponent, and two, they start worrying about upsetting the masses and kind of upsetting the fans.
Or they try to make money with their mouths, which is which is one way to do this in this sport.
I mean, we've seen it. How many guys we know are making money with their mouth, and they really don't have the game. But then we've also seen a lot of guys now that have the game. They can really.
No, I agree. And if you got the mouth and the game, it definitely helps.
Yeah, for sure. So, did you take any kind of classes in it, or was it just something that developed just by doing so many interviews?
I think it just doing interviews, and then I went to college for. It's really just about listening. I used to just try to sound like I know what I'm talking about and try to cut the question short. But now you just got to really. I went to school to listen, really, so I'm just using that skills that I got from there, and I did a lot of it. Presentations in front of the class and a bunch of things like that. So that all helped. And then, just doing the more interviews and, the more – you just got to be honest. It sucks when you try to play a game and then you kind of forget where your game's going and then you're like, shit.
And the one thing we've seen with a lot of guys that fail, they try to do a lot of trash talking, but it's not their personality. It's not their style. And they try to make it up so they can get more fans. And it fails because they're trying to scramble for what they said before because it wasn't real. And
a real asshole knows when someone's not an asshole and they're trying to be a fake asshole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's easy to step in there. So I don't pay attention to like the trash talking and that stuff. I just like facts about fights. Trash talking is just part of the game that I love it, but I don't like seek it out. I'm not looking to find out what the trash talking is between two competitors. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I want to know how training camps are going. I want to know what's happening in their personal life. I want to know what's going on with their kids because kids are a big influence on guys.
The important stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So with Foster, is there any trash talking that you know of? Like, have you heard anything, or do you even pay attention?
I haven't paid attention. I was at the tournament when he won down in Arizona, and he won. And after every single one of those guys won, they looked at me and said something. But he started flipping me off a little bit, so it got me a little fired up. But other than that, since then, his coach really is a really respectful kind of guy. So I saw him getting yelled at for that. I was sitting by my mom and my sisters, and he flipped me off, and just not the time. Or I guess I shouldn't have them next to the cage. Emotions are running high.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for him. I'm excited. I'm definitely just worried about myself. I'm excited I'm kind of a show off. I'm really excited to get in there and show off my skills.
So you're still at Grudge, right? Training?
Yes.
And so how is it at Grudge right now? Train camp. I know you're going to say, oh, it's great. We have all these great heroes. All
Yeah.
great. But you're in a position now where it's not about the team anymore. It's about Justin. Like, you got to focus on you to keep going in the direction that you're going. Is it still working for you? And what's the hiccups that you run into over at Grudge of trying to make sure that you're getting enough one-on-one personal time?
I have no problems with that. I get 5 days a week, 6 days a week, really. I warm up on Saturdays with the coach, but I have two coaches, and I work each day 1 hour with each of them. No, not 2 hours a day. I do a class, like a class at 11 a.m. with whether it be kickboxing, jujitsu, MMA, wrestling. That's always at 11, and then always at like 4 or 6, I have a private for an hour with the coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's every day. So I have. That's always been for me. I have really good coaches. We don't have a ton of fighters here at the moment, or I mean, really at any point since I've been here, we haven't had a ton of fighters. And my coach really, Trevor Whitman, he doesn't coach. I think he has 3 fighters now, and so he's really he doesn't get if you want Trevor Whitman as a coach, it's not really possible right now.
Oh, he's just for those 3 fighters. That's his limit. That's all.
Yeah. That's about his limit, and because he just really wants to put his time and he's doing other things too that keep him a lot more busy.
Okay. See, remember when we first started, he had like Team Militich, Pat Militich's camp. At one point, they had 5 champs. Like, everybody was in there, and everybody was going to Iowa to be in that camp. Like, everybody wanted to be there because they were the champs. And then now you flash forward, it's either Black Zillions, ATT, or Jackson Winklejohn. Like, everyone's out there trying to train at one of those 3 camps. Like, that's the new hot spot. And I've always been more about, I don't need 18 champs in the room. I don't need 1,000 people in the room. I need a couple of great coaches, a couple of great workout partners, and we're going to figure this thing out one way or the other. And Grudge is kind of part of that style.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely part of that style. I don't care, if you're me or an amateur. No one gets treated differently at our gym. I don't expect to be treated differently, and I don't treat anybody differently. It does not matter what level you're at. If you're in there putting hard work in, then I can respect that.
You're 15-0, so it's you're getting up to that point where 20-0 is reachable. The big mark is getting to 10-0, and then you guys cruise. They kind of like not cruise, but they kind of take baby steps going through up to number 15 because they're like, oh well, I'm still undefeated. But now at 15, you're really in a space where you can get to 20-0, and that's a huge benchmark in this sport. I don't care if you're fighting 20 tomato cans, which you haven't done.
No,
but say you fight 20 tomato cans, if you game up 20 times for 20 guys that are beneath you, it doesn't matter. You still have to game up, you still have to train, you still have to be ready to go because there's always going to be that one Matt Serra that DSP wasn't ready for.
Get caught with one, or even just the preparation isn't there. I mean, it's very easy to do.
Yeah. So what are you doing to stop that from happening? Because, Nick Newell, Melvin Guillard, Palmino twice in a row, like those are tough fights. And those are your last 5 fights. Or last 4 fights. Those are super tough fights. But you still seem to game up every single time. You still seem to be a couple steps ahead of all your opponents.
Like I said, I'm a show off. And my dad put a driver in my hands. The only time I hit a ball 300 yards is when his friends were watching. I don't know. You got to be able to show up under the lights, and that's one thing that I am good at, and I will always do. I've been wrestling since I was 4. There've been a lot of big matches, where I've walked out there and had to prepare for those, and so a lot of lessons learned.
Do you sometimes feel like that practice is obviously everybody thinks practice is way tougher, but do you kind of take your bumps and your licks in practice and then super excel on Saturday night, or do you super excel from day 1 of training camp all the way until after the fight's over?
No, we definitely have like a program where I'll peak, in competition for the exact competition. I've been training for 10 weeks. The first 4 weeks is, just kind of getting your body ready to go hard for the next 6 weeks after that. So now have this week and next week. These are everyone says, when Dos Santos got hurt, everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't be training that hard. Those people are not fighters. They've never done it. Yeah. They have no idea. Like it's more mental than it is getting you have to get your body ready, but you have to get your mind ready for a war. So if you're going into if you're never in that scenario, which you should be often, whether it be in a wrestling practice, jiu-jitsu practice, you shouldn't be successful all the time. So, just small things.
You bring up Dos Anjos. He pulled out of the fight. For those of you who don't know, he pulled out because of his foot.
Yeah.
He broke his foot. And, I'm not a radiologist. I have one buddy of mine says he's a radiologist and says he doesn't look like the break is that bad. Another buddy of mine who is a radiologist is like, that break is horrible. Like, I don't know how he's walking. And of course, the pictures of his foot being swollen up.
Yeah, you don't know how many days after the break that picture was taken. It could have been, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know any of that stuff. So, like, my assumption is that he got hurt and he just pulled out, and that's just what it is. So
yeah, he kicked the knee. I mean, you can't stop. You can't say, "Oh, you shouldn't have been kicking that hard." Like, I can't pull my kicks. It hurts. If you knew anything, it hurts worse when I kick at 50% hit a knee than when I'm kicking at 100% hit a knee.
Well, I've seen even a lot of ex-fighters that are commentators now come out and say, "Yeah, that was dumb. You should have been going so hard." And I'm like, "Well, hold on a second. Like, it was 2 weeks before the fight. He absolutely should still be
That's
going
your
hard.
peak week. That's when you should be going the hardest." And Dana's over here like, "Oh, there's a science." I haven't heard the exact quote from Dana. I'm not saying that, but he. You can't say that, especially for he doesn't. Nobody knows what it takes for me to get myself mentally ready for a fight.
Right.
Take the physical part out of it.
I talked to BJ Penn quite a bit, and BJ was always like, "I'd rather be 1% under or 10% undertrained than 1% overtrained." That was his whole philosophy going into the early part of his career. Now he's making a comeback. He's like, "I'd rather be 3% overtrained." He's like, this is because he's in so much better shape because he's pushing hard and going more. Do you find yourself that peak week, that last week before the week before the actual fight? Because the week before the fight is a lot of rest. Do you feel like that you've got to be a lot more cautious with your sparring opponents because you are worrying about injuries now at this point?
I mean, you can't necessarily go into a practice worrying about injuries. It's really not something that you can do. You can't allow yourself to do that because then you start hesitating, and that's when injuries happen. They really do. No, I don't. My mindset gets more intense. Like I said, I have to be ready. If I'm not ready, then I'm not. I don't want to step in the cage anyways.
Right. You're 15-0, like I said earlier. Have you ever had to pull out of a fight due to an injury?
I haven't. I've been very, very lucky. My whole wrestling career, I never broke a bone. I broke a bone once in football.
Okay.
My freshman year of high school, and I just broke my arm before that last Palomino fight, like 9 weeks before it, playing softball.
How'd you break your arm playing softball?
I was pitching, and someone shot one right back at my face, and luckily I got my arm in front of it.
Oh, wow.
Broke it, yeah. It broke right here, so I almost got my glove on. It was close, but it was a shot.
Okay.
I won't be pitching. And I haven't even played softball since, but if I do, I won't be pitching. Not smart.
Yeah, no, for sure. Wow, that's crazy.
It hurt.
All right, so how do you see Brian Foster as an opponent? Like, how do you see?
I am excited, man. I'm waiting for the day to someone to match my intensity in that cage, and he seems like the guy that he definitely is not scared. He hits hard as hell. So I mean, he's confident that he has that ability. It's a lot. There's a lot of difference when you're going in there to try to beat someone for 15 or 25 minutes, or where you go in there and you know that you can finish them when you hit them.
Yeah.
A lot of different game plan. So yeah, he has that. So I'm excited. I think he's going to be a little bit too aggressive. I've been really working on my footwork, on my head work. Maybe a little less gambling. A lot of my punches are gamble. So, which I'm very confident that I could beat anybody to the punch, but it's still a little bit of gamble and something that I don't necessarily have to do. Now that I'm gaining more skills from Trevor, so just slowly but surely. I've been fighting pro for 4 years now.
Yeah.
So I didn't train before that. I didn't
at all, really, right?
I never really trained. I started my last 2 fights before that. I started going to a gym sparring. I never sparred, for a consistent year before that. Not even for a consistent 6 months, probably.
Wow.
So now it's all coming. It's coming together. Granted, I am getting hit here and there, but it's a fight. I do fight for a living, and that includes throwing punches. So of course I'm going to get punched. I'd rather it not be a clean shot. It hasn't been a clean shot yet. So we keep it up.
Well, keep it up, Justin. Man, I love your fight. Your fight IQ is getting better. I love your fight style. I'm definitely interested in this fight because this is a guy that's going to bring a lot of intensity. Brian is super, super hyper when it comes into this fight. It's gonna be a real high action fight. For. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, someone's going to sleep.
For sure.
I mean, I'll take a choke on this one. I'm not gonna pass up a choke by any means, but I'm going in there to finish him, just like always.
Yep. Looking
That's
for that
all
finish.
I can control the preparation. I can control what I eat, how much I sleep, and my output in the fight. Those are the only things I can control.
Yeah, exactly. Very true. All right, Justin,
But
thanks so much for coming out here, man. Have a great rest of your training camp. Enjoy yourself, and I'll be watching the fight at home when it comes on TV.
yes, sir. It'll be a good one. Excited to show off my skills again.
Thanks, brother. Take care.
All right. Have a good one.